Popek Popek pop culture for you this hour, in which we are going to display a significant divide in terms of the games that we play and are invested in. Because there were two separate articles that kind of led us down the same path, which was that games, in essence, can be good for your brains. So we want to know whether you play video games or do you do crosswords, do you do Sudoku, whether it's on your phone, your console, your computer, because a new study suggests that mobile games may actually be useful tools to show signs of cognitive decline, and also crossword puzzles help to open your mind.
So when it comes to video games, not all are equal when it comes to being tools to detect any sort of cognitive decline. The games the researchers at the University of Kent used were Tetris, Candy Crush, and Fruit Ninja. These games require reactivity, visual spatial skills, and multiple hand gestures. So things like reaction speed, how long each round lasted, how attentive each player was, changes in their motor abilities, gave researchers insights into someone's overall mental health status.
So they also found out that how each person chose to play these games actually correlated with that mental health, because they could be signs that someone might be suffering from Alzheimer's, stroke, schizophrenia, and so on. So it's, I think, one of those things that comes up often about the benefits of games, because we hear a lot of people go on and on about addiction, about concerns with esports and things like that. But correspondingly, there is almost always someone else who'll go, yeah, but they're really good for you. And so this research tends to fall into that camp. And like, we both play different games. We should say that up front.
Yeah, you are, as we spoke before coming on air, you are a huge fan of crossword puzzles. I am not. I don't feel like I have the patience or the smarts for crossword puzzles. Or maybe it's just like Sudoku, where you like practice time and time again until you get it.
It's not so much patience and smarts. It's sort of like Scrabble. I mean, Scrabble, people think that you need to be really clever and know lots of words, but really you just need to have a good memory.
Yeah, that's true.
And like a certain amount of strategy. But what I like about, and I think all these games, Tetris, Candy Crush, Fruit Ninja, and then I'm just going to extend it to like the other games that started offline, but now you can play online, like crossword puzzles and Sudoku. I think they all kind of activate different parts of your brain, but they do mostly keep you thinking. I mean, like I love Tetris, although when I played it too often, I started dreaming in Tetris.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like every night, dun, 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 and it was just like, no, this is not good. But crossword puzzles, I find, because if you like words and you play around with it, they kind of deconstruct the meaning, or they force you to reconsider a word in a new way. They force you to think about things differently. And I find after doing it, my brain actually feels like it had a workout, which is really nice. And you can also feel the difference when you haven't done it for a while, that loss of, I suppose, for lack of a better term, stamina.
Yeah, I think for me, because I tend to play a lot of RPGs or role-playing games. And I really enjoy story elements of the game. So I've come to more or less to a stage where I'm openly can say that I always play my games on easy mode because I just want to have fun. Why do you want to play games where you're not necessarily having fun? You're not so good at it, but you can still have fun, right? You don't necessarily have to be competent at something. But when it comes to story-based games, it is being able to appreciate and be more interactive, be able to get hooked on a certain story that they're trying to get through, right? And that, I think, has been something that's really fun. I essentially view these sorts of video games as like storybooks. So I may not read as much, but I feel like just with games and the amount of information that they tend to dump into it, the amount of lore and scripting that they've done, that sort of fulfills that need for me.
Sure. I mean, so that's why we wanted to talk about games, because I think for a lot of people, whether or not you think of games only in the traditional video game or, console type situation, or you consider a game something like a crossword puzzle or Sudoku, something that's a bit more of perhaps a puzzler. The point is, I think a lot of people, it's built into the habits of our day to day, and also I don't know whether you have found that it has benefits for you. I certainly find that it makes me feel a little more ready for the day. But tell us, do you play any games regularly, especially on your phones or on your laptops? And do you find that they're doing anything for you? At least, do they make you happy? Do you think that they're working your brain out in different ways? You can call us and share your experiences. WhatsApp us at 018-789-8899. Call 7733-2900 and tweet us at BFM Radio. We're going to be speaking after this with Associate Professor Dr. Anasuya Anasuya Jegathesan, who is the Program Director of Psychology at Taylor's University and a gamer herself. So we'll be getting that perspective. This is the Evening Edition, BFM 89.9.
Best flipping moments. BFM 89.9, the business station.
We've been talking about games, both video games and otherwise word games, representing, I suppose, the different types of hobbies that we have. But both have been found to have benefits for the brain in different ways. And we wanted to know whether you play any games. Have you started? Are there any that you're particularly enjoying or that you think have kind of benefited you in any way? We would like to know. Call us at 7733-2900, WhatsApp 018-789-8899, and tweet us at BFM Radio. We're crossing over now to Associate Professor Dr. Anasuya Jegathevi Jegathesan, who is the Program Director of Psychology at Taylor's University. Dr. Anasuya, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So first things first, you're a gamer yourself. Why did you decide to take it up? How did it all start?
Why did I decide to take it up? Very, very simple answer, one word, it's fun.
And have you felt that, but was fun? I mean, like, is it something that grew into a habit pretty quickly?
Yes. I mean, I started gaming actually quite late. I actually started gaming when I was studying my doctorate in Australia. So when I wasn't studying and you're alone at night because you're alone overseas, the computer is there, nothing else to do, everything else is a bit expensive, so I started playing computer games. And then I kind of got hooked.
So let's talk about this, the sort of like health benefits that gaming can bring, and what examples of that have you seen over? What examples of that have you seen?
I mean, the one example that nobody ever denies is hand-eye coordination. If you're playing especially faster games, where you're first-person shooters, role-playing games, action games, then your hand-eye coordination does improve. Your ability to see what's going on at the same time and take in what's happening in front of you is a lot higher after you've played games. But in terms of cognition and the research that everybody is talking about now, there are lots of studies, strong positive relationships between, perception, top-down attention, spatial cognition, multitasking, cognitive flexibility, the ability to switch from one strategy to another strategy. I mean, sometimes even to stick with something until you win. If you're playing like really hard games, like some of the old platformers, or you're playing Dark Souls, God bless you, then you would be actually sticking to stuff and learning strategies and learning patience before you can win. I mean, rage quitting is a separate issue, but yeah, there is most people don't rage quit. Most people stick to it until they win.
Now, having said that, I mean, like we referenced earlier, I think gaming does get its fair share of bad press. Some people point out that it can be very much addictive. Others worry that it promotes violence. What would you say to that? Okay.
Now, in gaming industry, there's this really horrible thing called loot boxes, and that has elements of gambling inside it. Now, certain games, it's not all games, but unfortunately certain games, especially mobile phone games where they ask you to pay to play or pay to win. Now, these games have embedded inside it, systems that would support an addictive habit because they want you to gamble. You're not sure exactly what you're getting. In fact, some countries right now are banning it, and I'm hoping that's going to be an international ban, that they ban the idea of loot boxes. So, those type of behaviors are very addictive. And of course, with young people, I mean, they can young people can get addicted to anything that's fun if they're allowed to do so without boundaries. As with anything, children can get addicted to football. You can have a game of Monopoly and people can play for hours and hours and hours. Any game, you have to have, okay, time's up, time to study, time to do different things. It has to be incorporated into discipline and learning how to manage your life.
Now, the World Health Organization recently classified gaming addiction as a mental health condition. It was quite controversial as a classification. Do you support it? Are you against it? What are your thoughts?
Because of the diaspora of games. Like I said, the games which I'm totally against are the games that build that element of addiction into the game. Now, these games need to be monitored. They need to be reduced. There's a reason why when you look at gambling is one of the biggest addictive behaviors. And if you're building those systems into some games, and mobile games, especially when they ask you to pay for anything, those are what you need to worry about. And it's not pay to buy the game. It is you get the game for free, and then after that there's this special, like slot machines in that game where you put a little bit of money in and you may win extra, you may win something special. You don't know exactly what you're buying. Those create gambling kind of systems inside us, and those need to be. I do agree that those are addictive. Now, here's the other issue is in countries like China or where gaming is now a big issue. It's not just gaming, it is the whole social structure. Are people trying to run away? Is the reality something very different from what they want to live in? So when you have a gaming addiction in society, which is so big, you got to stop looking at the game and you got to answer the question of why are these people running away? What is it about reality that makes it so unbearable that in this country they must run away? Because if you look at Japan, they don't have a similar kind of problem. If you look at many other countries where you have high levels of gaming, they don't have similar kinds of problems. But in some areas, they are. So it's not just about, the game. It's about the social environment that creates that addictive behavior and supports that addictive behavior. But having said that, there are some games which are addictive. And as a gamer myself, no, I'm personally, for most games, I don't think people get addicted.
And you mentioned that you came to gaming a little bit later than most, and I'm curious in terms of the benefits that we're talking about when it comes to cognition, when it comes to seeing things through, and all those different things that we've been discussing. Is there a difference between gaming as an adult and gaming as, say, a child or a teenager?
Okay, because you talked about Sudoku and Scrabbles and all that. Now, my family's been playing Sudoku and Scrabble since we were small. So the gaming that I'm talking about, which I got into as an adult, is the computer games, the online games. But since small, we have been playing those games. Now, as an adult and as somebody who drives my car, I can honestly tell you, I suspect, especially in KL where you've got the freaking motorbikes, coming in front of my car and darting in front of your car, you have to have pretty fast reflexes to step on the brake. And I will actually credit gaming for that. I can note from the side of my eye, this motorbike is coming. So I do think that it has a benefit. And if you look at research, even in Alzheimer's research, it actually helps stimulate the mind. Crossword puzzles and Sudoku are good games for adults. But we're no longer in the culture where they used to sit and play chess for long hours in the coffee shop. That is actually it's beneficial. It's the same kind of thing. We dare not send people to spend too much time in coffee shops by themselves because it's such a dangerous situation. They are vulnerable. So the alternative is to put it online and to put it into systems where there's a safe environment that people can play or can engage with people at different levels, with the ease of access that they need to. Did I answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
And would you recommend video games as a form of treatment for things like depression, for mood improvement, and so on?
Not unless it's built for depression. Not unless there's a lot of research done and the specific game is built for depression. So now that's a very specific question, and that's an area which is now people are looking into it, researchers are looking into it, but I don't know a single game that is built to help you with depression at this point in time. That I do think will come in the future because that's where gaming is going. There are certain games like Senua, I think it's called Senua. It's a game that looks at mental health issues, and it's done in a very interesting manner. It looks at somebody who's going into manic depressive states and how the brain works in those areas. So there are games that are looking at mental health in a very this is the issue, let's go deep into that issue, but it's new. You have to keep in mind that a lot of things that we're learning about the brain and how we put it forward is new. And those are the interesting parts of gaming. Those are the interesting things for the future. But right now, if you tell me there's this specific game online that I want you to play for depression, I'm going to go, who recommended it? What are the other things that you're doing? If it's one of the things you're doing, fair enough. But if it's the only thing you're doing, I doubt it. Although for loneliness and for people who have, physical reasons for not leaving their house or mental health reasons for not leaving the house, games like Second Life Online, those games allow people to have relationships. And what people have found is those relationships are not necessarily bad. They're as real to those individuals as going out and meeting somebody as well. So people do have a chance to be somebody that they're not online, and it's not exactly bad. It has been beneficial to a great number of people who, if not for that, would be in their house the whole time, not meeting anybody, not going out because physically they can't.
So with that said, I mean, so that's depression. But broadly speaking, if people just want to improve their memories, if people want to improve all the other cognitive abilities or benefits that we've been talking about, are there specific games that you think would be helpful that you'd like to recommend?
I recommend people finding games that they find challenging at whatever level they find challenging and they find enjoyable. You don't force people to play a game. That defeats the purpose of a game. The point of playing a game is that you mentioned that you enjoyed, crossword puzzles and Sudoku, and he likes RPGs, role-playing games on casual mode. Really? Okay, never mind. Okay, so if either way, if you're playing these games, if you enjoy it and you are engaged, you're engaging the brain. Games are played with a level of challenge. And when you have that challenge and you're engaging your brain, you are doing all those good things for your brain, instead of sitting down and watching TV, which is a one-way activity. Whereas games is a two-way activity. That's what is the benefit of games that over other sedentary sports. Or sedentary activities, not sports, sorry. TV is not sports. Sedentary activities that we can do. Okay? So, there are benefits. When you look at research right now, there are benefits in creativity. People get more open. There are benefits in motivation. What you do find is gamers don't like to lose. And when you can equate gaming to life. In life, we do have a scorecard. You know what the scorecard is in life?
No.
Your bank balance. Your bank balance. Your bank balance. You want to be a winner in life, you have to have in your bank balance enough to buy whatever you need to buy in that world. You don't have to be a millionaire. You just have to have enough to buy whatever you want. And it's the same thing in a game. So if somebody's caught up in games and you don't think life is important, well, can I switch that observation to go that life has a challenge, and if you're losing in life, what's the point of winning in a game? So sometimes it's how we approach a subject and we approach people, because gamers don't like to lose. Unless they're playing casual mode, then I don't know.
The feeling is so that we still don't quite like to lose, but the stakes are much lower.
Dr. Anasuya, sorry, did you want to scold Kelvin some more? Because we could definitely do that.
No problem. It's just what games and what RPGs do you play on casual mode? Seriously? Okay, never mind.
So far, it's only, I think the last one I played was probably Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I played that on normal or easy mode. I can't remember which one.
I platinumed them. Come on, you have to play on casual.
Oh, don't shame me like this. I just like games for the fun of it.
Public shaming. I love it. Dr. Anasuya, thank you so much for weighing in.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
That was Associate Professor Dr. Anasuya Jegathevi Jegathesan, the Program Director of Psychology at Taylor's University, speaking to us about the effects that gaming can have on the brain. And we've been asking you for your thoughts. And we have a couple of minutes to go. On the line with us is Zell. Zell, good evening. You're a gamer.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Actually, I started playing games when I could remember. I was since 4 years old. And I kind of retired when I was before my 30s. So during that time, I really enjoyed playing games like RPG. Back in the days, I was playing like Final Fantasy. So I think my record was playing 20 hours a day during like school holidays. Mm-hmm. So like playing games to me, like I remember my high school was like really boring. Like I didn't like any of the lessons in the classes. So when I got home, I just play a lot of games, and it's kind of like a different kind of world for me to explore and like learn about different like fantasies and magics and stuff like that, and a lot of like challenging tasks and beating the bosses and awesome soundtracks and everything. But I had to give up on playing games, even though they have like a lot of like advantages. Like for example, you have to make quick decisions, you have to be confident in yourself, and you have to be precise and accurate, and etc. But I had to give up because it gets busier in life, you're busy with work. So, and I kind of like heard a lot of people saying that you shouldn't waste so much time playing games. Then I think of like adopting a new hobby, so I picked up reading instead. So instead of like playing games, so nowadays I've been reading instead of like playing games. Yeah.
Zal, thank you so much for calling and for sharing that. We would love to hear from you. We've got some messages coming in already. What games are you playing? And do you find that it benefits you? Do you find that perhaps like Dr. Anasuya, sitting in traffic or avoiding motorcycles becomes a little bit easier because of it? Call us and let us know. 77332900. WhatsApp 018-789-8899. Tweet us at BFM Radio.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my, BFM 89.9, the business station.